Hello and welcome to the Full Fat Podcast, coming to you in slightly less than 1080p. I'm Matt Whittle of Full Fat Videos, and I'm joined by Charlie Lee of Your Favourite Film Is Awful, Terry of Terry Plays, and Harry Bagg of Harry Bagg, who is also an editor for Full Fat Videos. He's done some very good work. Would you like to regale? Would you like to stop quoting Drake and regale the audience with some of your videos, some of your edits?
Well, you only live once, baby. That's why I'm editing for you all the time, baby, all the time. Ain't wasting no minutes for no one.
Amazing.
Wonderful.
And what have you guys been up to? There's a very specific reason why I'm going to ask you what you guys have been up to, and I'm just going to duck out of the frame for 2 seconds. So if you guys could just filibust for a second, it'll all become clear. So Terry, what have you been up to?
I've been getting ready for this week's topic, which is the Snyder Cut, baby. Ooh. I've been watching and reading everything, so I'm ready. What about you, Mr. Charlie Lilly?
Well, it is Charlie Lily's birthday,
hey!
isn't it? Hey!
I love that I'm 35, apparently.
Well, I couldn't get any twos, so.
But that is amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I've actually not seen that. Where did you pull that from? Where was the fridge? Where was this? This is amazing. There was no room in the fridge. Where was that?
A magician never reveals his secrets. Could I blow it out? Is that right?
I could blow it, and if you could do a little and look like I'm doing it through the digital. Ready? So. No one will know.
The magic of the internet.
Amazing. Well, I'm going to put this away now. Here's one I made earlier.
You're just going to see Matt disappear and just hear for the next hour.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Left Charlie, mate.
Oh, mate. I'm all for it. Fantastic. I love that it's a stormtrooper as well. Brilliant.
Yeah, I just thought it would be the best possible thing.
Yeah. Also, just put my age as 35, which is... Now, I love the thought that people might think now I'm 35 on the podcast. They probably already do.
They all assumed you were 45. But yes, we are here for not only Charlie's birthday, but a very special edition of the podcast, because it was, of course, a week away until the Snyder Cut graces our screens. We've been waiting for it for about a year now. How's everyone feeling? You excited?
I'm very, 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 very intrigued. As an avid disliker of Batman vs Superman,
avid disliker.
Yes, if that is a thing, I've just made it up right now. Avid disliker. Stick it on a t-shirt. I'm an avid disliker of Batman vs Superman, and I'm not a big fan of the Justice League either. I'm aware that it does feel like a mess. It feels like two directors, and I'm very curious to see what it will be like with Snyder's full vision. I'm very intrigued. Intrigued.
Full power.
Because his fans have conjured it up. They've conjured up this 4-hour CGI fest, and I'm intrigued. I'm so intrigued. I can't hate. I can't. No, I can't.
I think it just changes the relationship between fan bases and franchises. This whole thing.
Yeah.
It's
definitely.
Definitely a big historical moment.
100%. Yeah. Because we were all laughing for years since 2017 about release the Snyder Cut. Of course it's never going to happen. Of course no one's ever going to get it. You're living in a dream world. And then what did Warner Brothers go and do? They gave us the Snyder Cut. So fair play, to all the diehard Batman v Superman fans. Yeah. You won. So
they did.
Yeah, no.
I hold my hands up. We can't make fun of it. They won. They did it.
They win until it's terrible, and then they kind of will never do it again if it's terrible.
It's an intriguing time,
thing, isn't it?
Because if you look at something for example, even Sonic, the power of the fans now are more. It's more powerful than ever. You look at Sonic, for example. When that first trailer came out, everyone was complaining about the Sonic looked like this demon thing, and then they actually went back and changed it. And I think that's it's a strange time. We've never really had that before. And now, the extension of that is the Snyder Cut, of having an actual 4-hour cut of a director actually getting to make all of his movie.
Sonic was a bit insane to me because I think if they hadn't have redesigned that character, I think the exact same movie that everybody loved, I think everyone would have hated it. And not because of the design. I think people would have hated the design, gone into it hating it, and then they would have picked out a million things that they didn't like about the movie. Because it's not that accurate to the games. No. Nor is it. It's not a very good movie. It's fine. It's okay. But I feel like the fact that they honoured the fans by redesigning Sonic was all anyone needed to like the movie. So everyone was really happy with it, happy with the second trailer before the thing had even come out. I think the power we're giving to fan bases with movies is sort of setting the narrative before the film even comes out. Whether or not we like the Snyder Cut or not, whether or not it's a piece of shit next week, people will love it. They will unashamedly love it, no matter what happens, because the power of, particularly a director like Zack Snyder, he's got such a devout fan base. We often joke and call him Sheriff Snyder, don't we, Charlie?
Yeah, we do. The Sheriff.
Because I once was on Twitter and I got yelled at by someone. I can't really remember what I said. I didn't even say anything too hateful about Batman v Superman. I just said, I didn't really like it, or whatever. And someone sent me saying, and I clicked on it, and their banner was Sheriff Snyder, and they'd photoshopped Zack Snyder as a cowboy, and on his wanted list was like Joss Whedon, Walter Hamada.
Fuck off! I didn't know that part. That's brilliant. That's so good.
Snyder.
What a cute way to announce you've never been laid.
That's amazing.
But
Is that too mean?
People...
We can cut that out.
Oh no, we're leaving it in. We're leaving it in.
No, 100%. 100%.
I don't know how you found my account, to be honest.
I'm gonna let the fanboys come for Terry because of what she said. So come at her in the comments.
Come at me. I have sex, so
the sheriff is in town. He's here to collect.
Fantastic.
But of course, there is a reason why we have a fourth guest, or a third guest rather. I'm not a guest, I'm the host. And that reason is because when it got announced that the Snyder Cut was coming, me and Harry Bagg created a bet. And it was created on the 23rd of August, the 6-year anniversary of the first Peter Capaldi Doctor Who episode, as you all know. And what we essentially did is we created 5 clauses regarding the Snyder Cut on things that we felt very strongly were going to happen. And for the longest time, we've been laughing because things have been happening which have been confirming some of my bets. So I already know I've won a couple of things. But the narrative has transformed into something where Harry's going to lose like 50 quid or whatever. We've all been laughing about it, haven't we? But I think you'd be surprised. I think you're going to be surprised here because I think when we actually break it down, I think Harry's got a very good chance of scooping a lot of the money.
To be honest, the way you guys were laughing about it, you did make it sound like Harry was going to lose $5,000. Like the way you guys were talking about it.
It did feel that way. It did. It was getting a bit ridiculous, like the announcements, because like what's crazy about it, as you're going to find out once we run through it, is that Matt makes like quite, I think, outlandish bets. He goes full Howard Ratner. And I must admit,
I disagree, Charlie. I disagree.
I must admit, I doubted the man. I do doubt the man. But as the reveals were coming through, as you will find out, slowly but surely, the madness was being revealed of Snyder's vision, and madness alongside it.
This is Sparta.
This is Snyder.
The sheriff is in town.
So I can't wait to go through this because it's been a long time since we've gone through it, and I can't wait to see.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen it as well.
Who's losing a lot of money.
So without further ado, let's go.
Let's do it.
The first clause. Are you ready? Are you ready, Harry Bagg? How are you feeling?
Sweaty palms.
I'm feeling like a winner, but we'll wait and see. See.
Oh, okay.
You're feeling like a winner because you're a winner day in, day out, mate. That's just how it is.
Videos for you, mate.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, so clause 1. In the event the movie is R-rated, Mr. Harry Bag will owe Mr. Matthew Whittle £10. In the event the movie is not R-rated, Mr. Matthew Whittle will owe Mr. Harry Bag £10. As we know, it is confirmed it's going to be R-rated.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
can't believe it. Snyder said he drops an F-bomb, right? Batman at some point or something like that.
Sake.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I've just got a feeling what Batman's going to be like just from that alone, and I'm just like he's going to be he's going to be killing, he's going to be saying the F-bomb. It's just full Snyder, isn't it?
He's always said really weird, outlandish things about Batman. Like, there's an old interview from quite a few years ago now, where it was before he even got the chance to make Batman. Someone asked him like what his Batman movie would be like, and he said something like, "Oh, you know, it'd be so dark. Like he'd get assaulted in prison and stuff like this, like because it'd be so dark." And that was his answer. That's how dark it's gonna be.
It's weird. It's like he doesn't quite understand Batman as much as you think he would.
I don't
Do you know
think
what I mean?
No. I think
He does.
I think he.
Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, I think he understands the context and the appeal of Superman better than he does Batman. I think in terms of Batman, I think the thing that really interests Snyder is the action that comes with him and
the aesthetic.
Yeah. Whereas I think he's actually far more suited to the character of Superman than people would give him credit for.
I'd really enjoy seeing like Snyder take over like a Batman video game. Like the stuff when he does like Batman in like the sand suit in Batman vs Superman. I think that's really video gaming. It would be really cool in like a video game desert operation, if that makes sense. So and like all that action would be really good. Like fighting, like when he has the nightmare and he fights all those different things. That would be such a good video game scene. Yeah. So
we're gonna get more of that in the Snyder Cut.
Oh. Not for the films. I just want it to be moved to a video game. I don't want it in the films.
Warner Brothers are like, we heard you like the nightmare sequence, here's more of that. And then Terry's like, no, just video games. And like, oh.
Yes, because I'm who they have to go through before they make all their decisions, clearly. I get a little email. I get CC'd in.
They should do, baby, because you're never wrong. just getting my goodwill in this morning. So unfortunately, Harry, that's confirmed. You lost that money.
Yes, I'm afraid so.
How do we actually feel about it being R-rated?
Good question.
I don't really have a problem with it. I don't see why not. Especially if it's been on demand, being released on demand.
It's one of those things for me where it's like, I wouldn't necessarily want an R-rated Justice League movie, but this thing is not a Justice League movie. It is specifically Zack Snyder doing Justice League. And at this point, if you're not in on that style, you're not going to be in. So I'm happy for it to be R-rated on that basis. But if they were to make more Justice League movies with a different creative team, there'd be no need for it to be R-rated. But Snyder...
No. I mean, it would never be like that.
I agree.
No.
And I think it's particularly, I mean, obviously, like you said, Matt, it is Zack Snyder's Justice League. I think it's very weird if I'd have heard Justice League's R-rated. Like, it doesn't, the characters of Justice League, like the Flash and Superman and Wonder Woman, I just don't imagine them in an R-rated movie. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't imagine them swearing and like
just
blood and I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Batman.
You what, mate?
You fucking what, Darkseid?
You what, Sam?
Charlton's Justice League.
That's us. We're Charlton's Justice League.
Oh wow. Sorry, Charlton.
Speaking of Justice League members, we come to clause 2. In the event Green Lantern is in the movie, Mr. Harry Bag will owe Mr. Matthew Whittle £10. In the event Green Lantern is not in the movie, Mr. Matthew Whittle will owe Harry Bag £10.
I think I've won this personally.
I think you've won this one personally. What do you guys think?
It's hard to say because like we don't know how much extra they've filmed, and I don't know whether because they're saying it's only one scene, right, with Joker and the nightmare scene. But is that true?
2 minutes of footage, which I think means pick up shots across the whole thing.
Yeah.
But then again, like, there was so much stuff that was unfinished from what Zack shot that I reckon we are still going to get, like, so much new stuff. I mean, you got to think, like, I think the original movie is just over 2 hours. This is 4 hours. So even on that basis, you're getting 2 extra hours. But I think they confirmed that the footage in the original cut, about an hour of it is Snyder's.
Yeah.
So technically, we've got 3 hours of new Snyder.
That's crazy.
Wow.
I didn't think of that. I didn't think about that.
But
Yeah,
don't
I
we?
mean-
Forgive me if I'm wrong, but don't we already see a Green Lantern in the Justice League film?
We do.
So
oh,
does
well,
that-
better give me that tenner then back.
Count?
Do we?
No.
Yeah, when we
Yeah.
go back,
I
because I
think-
watched it yesterday.
I think we were referring to Hal Jordan, not,
Yes,
any
not-
old
So-
Lantern.
but then like
Explain this to me, though.
So
don't know.
when they go back in time to show like the big battle where the bad guy with the horns lost, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. Sorry, everyone. And
Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf, that's the one. I was
Yeah.
thinking, because I've been listening to the Rasputin song, I knew it was something with the similar amount of syllables, but I knew it wasn't Rasputin. Excuse me. But when they're having like the fight with him, they say other worlds got involved and some of the Green
Can I just
Lanterns-
say? Can I just say it would be absolutely ridiculous if a superhero movie had Rasputin as the bad guy. Hellboy Kingsman. Anyway. Hellboy Kingsman.
I think Rasputin should be the bad guy in everything, and we should hear the song.
100%. And the hero, like Superman, should be trying to put him down, and he just keeps coming out of the ice every single time.
It was Rasputin all along.
But yeah, Terry, you are correct. A Green Lantern appears in the flashback. It's like an alien Green Lantern. It's a cool little Easter egg.
So I've only seen it the once, so I didn't remember that. I only see it once in the cinema, the Justice League. So
Amazon
Don't
Prime
remember
says
too
it was
much.
tribute to the original Green Lantern.
Wow. Thanks for that IMDb trivia.
Look, I've got to bring something. Okay.
When I put this bet down, I really did think he's going to chuck everything at the wall. Because the reason why I voted for this was I thought, even though it was originally part 1 of 2, this Justice League movie, this is Zack's last chance to put a stamp on these characters, to tie off their stories. We know now it's not going to be canon to the DCEU. So, for all intents and purposes, this is the finale of Zack Snyder's universe. And with that in mind, and this was all before we knew exactly how much footage was going to get filmed, I was really certain that he was going to go all out and bring Green Lantern in. And I did think for the longest time on the bet that we'd bet Martian Manhunter would be in it, because I did think he was going to be in it, but we didn't write it on the contract, so
damn.
I could have
Did
gotten
we?
an easy tenner there. No,
Oh.
no, we didn't put it on the contract.
Yeah.
No.
But interesting that you said that, because I do understand it, like particularly now after all this madness that's been announced with it that we're going to get into. But I could see, and I still could see Green Lantern turning up. I think nothing's off the table when it comes to this man.
Yeah.
I think
I agree
nothing
with
is off
Charlie.
the table.
I do agree.
The fact that Jared Leto's Joker,
Yep.
Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke, and Black Suit Superman are going to be in it, and Martian Manhunter, and Darkseid.
Yeah.
Like, anything's possible.
Anything's
But
possible.
I do think this is the stretch too far. And I think
It
Harry's
could
got
be.
this one.
Yes, I think so too.
So what we're thinking? We're thinking 1-1 at the moment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. This one, I'm going to need to explain a little bit before you chime in. I think Harry knows what it's going to be.
Yeah, yeah.
Harry
yeah.
knows.
In the event Darkseid is in the movie, in brackets, in the present narrative, and comes to one attack, Mr. Harry Bagg will owe Mr. Matthew Whittle £10. In the event the aforementioned does not happen, Harry will be owed by Matt. So what we meant by this was, I think Darkseid is going to show up in a more substantiated way than just the flashback. I think, again, this is the final. This is the end of Sheriff Snyder. So, are you really telling me that Darkseid is going to pop up and get teased, and he's not going to do anything. He's not going to do anything.
Yep.
That would.
Yeah, I do.
That sounds about right.
I think, given the fact that they got given more money to shoot more bits, there's more effects we haven't seen, and that this is the finale. I think that he is going to show up, and
Really?
I think I would argue
Even
that I've
now?
won this one.
Really? I'd actually say definitely not, because the way he's been speaking about it is as if like he said it's going to be a massive cliffhanger, etc. I think he was always going to be the villain in like part 2 or even now he's saying part 3. Like I don't think, like, even if he had the chance to edit what he has, I don't think he's going to be like, oh, we need to push Darkseid to be the main villain. I still think it's going to be Steppenwolf.
I agree with you on that. I think I've won this one because we did say in the present narrative, what I think is going to happen is, we've already seen from the trailers that he's going to have more scenes in the present narrative. Yeah. Steppenwolf's going to be reporting to him, and we know from Snyder from what he says.
I reckon he'll be more in the movie, but I don't think he'll have a scene where he interacts with the Justice League, or at least in a fight. Sorry, in a fight.
So you think he's going to be like early Thanos when he sent people to?
Yeah, absolutely. Because we mainstream audiences hadn't even seen him and don't know who he is. So why are they going to care? They need to build him up.
But I would have thought that if it was the original Justice League we were getting, but we're not. And also, yeah, audiences might not necessarily know who Darkseid is, but this is not for general audiences.
Oh, no, I completely agree for this.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think what that means is it's going to manifest as a movie that is not afraid to just chuck everything the fans want at the wall. I think it's going to feature scenes where you're like, that didn't need to be in the movie, but we got it anyway because this is the last chance to show off this stuff. And I do think for that reason, we're going to get enough Darkseid that I'm going to win this bet.
I'm curious to see what Terry thinks of these two as bet, and like who you think is going to be right. Because I've got my 2 cents on it, but I'm curious to see what you think, Terry, about this. What do you reckon?
I do. I can see both sides of it. I am more in Harry Baggs' camp on this one. Sorry, Matt.
Well, that's perfect.
Are you in Matt's camp?
Oh, really?
Get over.
Oh, really? Wait, hang on. Let's high five.
Right.
Oh,
right.
For me, you're like...
Right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Wait, hang on. Wait.
It's like a high fives in real life, isn't it? They just suck.
Yeah.
Can we just pause so I can cough? I'm so sorry. I'm good.
Sorry. Just to let you guys know.
I love that. I'm going to leave it in.
Yeah, man, get mine as well.
Excuse me one moment. You know what it reminded me of? Do you remember that guy that was like chocolate rain?
Oh yeah,
and he'd like move.
Of course.
He'd like do this, wouldn't he? Like every 2 seconds.
I just had a little summon in my throat. I just had to clear it.
Yeah, like that guy. You move your mouth away from the mic to breathe in.
Yeah.
You can have it as a little.
But going back, yes, I'm in Harry Baggs' camp. Charlie's in Matt's.
Yeah, and
interesting.
The reason why, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna go a bit ballsier. I think I wouldn't be surprised, right, if he's gone, look, they've seen the Justice League movie. They've seen that Steppenwolf is the villain. We've seen what that looks like. We've got 3 extra hours of Snyder. 3 hours. 3 hours, right? Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna go out there and say, what if he just killed Steppenwolf off pretty early on, and Darkseid is actually the big bad of the movie? And I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be, because it's his last chance, like Matt said, it's his last chance to do everything he wants to do.
Well, this is the thing as well, is it's a fully CGI character. If they want to record more voice lines, all they have to do is usher Ray Porter into a booth, so they can do all that stuff. So it would be very costly, but you just never know. I think that would be awesome. I think what's likely is they shot a load of all CGI. Well, not shot. They created a load of all CGI scenes that are going to feature him. Because like his lair and all of his soldiers and all of his like second in commands, they're all digital, so you can have completely new scenes. And crucially, that wouldn't contradict the 2 minutes of extra footage shot, would it?
That's true.
That is true. That is also true.
So they could have been pulling a sneaky on us.
I'm curious.
Sorry, go on.
I was just saying, I was curious that like Harry said about Snyder saying that it ends with a cliffhanger, because I'm just curious to know what you guys think of. Say this movie is good. Let's just say it is, right? Or at least the fans absolutely love it. Yeah. Do you think there's a possibility? And because I don't think this is on the bet, so I just want to chuck this out there. Do you think there's a possibility that there could be a sequel?
Well, this was going to be my point when we were talking about Darkseid. Because I think that Snyder would be stupid not to make a really good movie that could become another movie. Like, because imagine if this turns out to be so great and Warner Brothers make loads of money, they're obviously going to go make another movie. So I think it would be stupid for him to lay down all his cards right now. And I also think it would be stupid for him not to make the movie that he set out to make.
That's
in the
right.
beginning.
Actually,
I don't think there's any way Justice League 2 will happen.
Even if this is like a box office hit
but,
and it's so good.
But I still think it's one of those things where it's not like Warner Brothers and Snyder have repaired the relationship. He said recently in an interview that he knows the only reason they wanted to do it is to get the internet off their backs. And originally they weren't even going to let him finish the cut. So it's not like they've come together. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They're not all gathering around a campfire singing Kumbaya. You know, he's still not very happy with them.
No, of course.
So I don't see it as, even if it does well, I think it would have to do astronomically well.
But also, like,
Justice League 2 to happen.
Fans can never be satisfied. They will always want more. And if they know that them just hounding Warner Brothers will get them the Snyder Cut, they know that hounding Warner Brothers will get them another Snyder movie. And where does it end?
No, that is fair, but I do think you also need to look at the actual stats, and I think it's worth it to finish a movie they've already got a lot of the footage for and please the fans. But I don't think they're going to plow 200 million plus 200 million on marketing for Justice League 2 after BVS and Justice League fell well below their expectations. They wanted BVS to do like $1 billion. I think it came in eventually like 800 million, which still sounds like a lot, but in terms of movie studios, that was a disappointment. No, and so was Justice League. So I think never say never, obviously, because 2 years ago I would have said the Snyder Cut was not going to happen, and now it is. But I would be so shocked if Justice League 2 happens. He's been speaking to Jim Lee about doing a comic book version of the sequels. I think that is, I think that's very likely. Yeah.
So I don't think he will put his all into this movie if that's the case. He will leave it on a cliffhanger, and he will leave us to go, oh, I want to go read the comics now. And I don't think that we're going to get a big ending scene with Darkseid if he's meant to be the big bad of the whole thing.
Yeah, that does change things.
I don't think it'll be an ending scene in terms of we stopped Darkseid and we saved the world and we've all finished our arcs. Isn't it so great that we wrapped it all up? I think it's going to be more like, originally Darkseid was in the movie for a minute and he said 2 lines. Because this is the final time you're going to see Zack Snyder's Darkseid, he's going to have 20 lines and he's going to be in 3 scenes and he's going to interact with the Justice League in some way. And do you know what I mean? Like, I just think his role is going to be more substantial than it was.
I could imagine that.
The penultimate clause of this bet: if there is any post-credit scene in the movie, Mr. Harry Bagg owes Mr. Matthew Whittle £10. In the event there are no post-credit scenes in the movie, Mr. Matthew Whittle owes Mr. Harry Bagg £10. What do we think? I
think Harry's owing you some more money.
Yeah, really? I think so as well. I actually just thought I feel like the Jared Leto scene could be a post-credit scene.
Ooh.
I just thought about.
Oh, really?
That.
I think he'll pop up in the middle of the movie.
Isn't it? No, I thought that originally, but I just thought now, like, isn't it? Isn't the second part meant to be set in the Nightmare universe, or whatever? I think that could be.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I've got something planned for that, but
Okay.
but yeah, you think it's going to lead into what would have been the next movie?
Yeah, I think about it now. I actually think that would make a lot of sense. I feel like as well that will tease fans for more if they wanted more. I don't know if Snyder really does. Like, do you actually think if Snyder was given the opportunity to do part 2 now, do you think he would do it?
I don't think he would. I don't think he wants to. I think he's burnt enough bridges with Warner Brothers. I think the whole situation, what with his daughter and the time he took away and coming back to this movie and sort of finishing it is a personal labour of love. I don't see this as this is him getting reinstated because for him, I don't. Yeah, you know what I mean. I don't think it's anything to do with Warner Brothers. I think it's what he wants. I think he wants to make Army of the Dead and more things like that.
Well, it's like an itch you want to scratch, right? And it's like that thing you wanted to, it was like locked away, and now we get to sort of see what it truly was like. Well, at least, what we think it might have been like.
Some sort of, it's his vision, even if it's not the same movie that we would have got.
Yeah.
Definitely. Go.
I was going to say, I think. You guys all think there is going to be a post-credit scene.
I think, even if it's a load of bollocks, I think we're getting one. Like, even if it's like, look at this cool reference. Like, do you know how they like to do that nowadays? We get these post credits that are just so pointless.
But he doesn't like them, does he? He doesn't like.
Oh, does he not?
He doesn't.
I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, it's kind of an MCU staple, right? So it's like, and I think Batman vs Superman did have one, although Justice League does have one.
BVS doesn't have one, and neither does Man of Steel. But the DCEU did start doing it with things like Aquaman and Suicide Squad had one.
Yes.
And again, this is one of those things where they're just chucking as much at the wall as possible.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if the post-credit scene is just some character reveal or some sort of reference that we just that Snyder wanted to put in that he couldn't have put in before. Having said all that, it's funny that you guys are all in agreement that you think I'm going to win, because now that I'm looking at this, I'm starting to think there won't be.
Yeah, after you've talked about it, I've jumped on the fence and I'm looking at the other camp because I'm not sure if it's like pure Snyder coming from an IV bag into your veins. If he doesn't like cutscenes, we're not going to get it. Surely.
Yeah, that did make me change my opinion
not
as well.
Cutscenes, sorry. End credits.
Well, surely he should like cutscenes if he's going to be doing his Batman video game.
Well, he's going to love them, but cutscenes is not what I meant.
You don't know that you love cutscenes, but you will.
I meant post-credit scene. I've been playing too many video games. Yes, I don't think there will be a cutscene if it's not a Snyder thing. I think maybe the cutscene was probably pushed by corporate, and maybe. I
love that you had this like internal battle with yourself about saying post-credit rather than cutscene, and then you said cutscene immediately after.
Fantastic.
It's okay, we all do it. We all do it.
Yeah.
Happens to the
Delete.
This will be a cut scene in the podcast.
Press,
you don't have to
press right trigger for cutscene, left trigger for post credit scene, and if you get it right, I'll say the right thing.
So we come to the final clause, and possibly the most important clause. In the event that Justice League, the Snyder Cut, is a good movie, Mr. Harry Bagg will owe Matt Whittle £10. In the event that the movie is a bad movie, Mr. Matthew Whittle will owe Mr. Harry Bagg £10. What do we think?
I have so many questions.
Did you put your hand up?
I was waiting to speak.
Also, you need to mention that if the movie is fine, like we feel nothing towards it, we owe each other nothing.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Sorry.
We need to define what good is as well, because I'm not talking bad fun. Like that is not what I signed up for. But yeah,
I think fine's the worst thing it could be.
Well, yeah, because that's what Justice League was, right? I mean, it is kind of shit, but like it is very painfully average as well.
I see what you mean.
And that is something you want to completely avoid.
So who decides whether it's good or not?
Well, I think we'll have a discussion. Well, we were saying when we did the bet, there's no way that either of us can bullshit because we'll know if the other one's lying. So as long as we,
£10.
yeah, exactly. So as long as we're genuine in the fact that we think it's good or bad, and we'll come to a consensus. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously this one's a bit trickier to sort of like confirm, but it's all in good fun.
Maybe it should be whether me and Charlie find it good or not.
Yeah.
So it's impartial.
Maybe, but I feel like if I like it and you guys don't like it, my answer will be the correct answer. So obviously we need to go on that. so you know,
you think he's joking? He's very much telling the truth.
Oh yeah, I know.
There's some trouble there.
Ego is powerful.
We actually just have scripts of our opinions from Matt, so that we can just talk about his opinions.
Yeah, I give you guys a script for the podcast so that I can like weave in all of my jokes and points, and you set me up. Yeah. Like even this laughter right now, I've told them to laugh. No.
We've got
there we go.
Above us is like a please laugh sign like you'd have on like a sitcom. And like, we're like, yeah.
4 years at drama school for this.
The reason why you know that I'm not controlling them is because they don't laugh at all my jokes. So if I wasn't forcing them, I'd make them.
That is true. Fantastic.
But yeah, what do you guys think? Good or bad?
If I was putting money on it.
Yeah. If you were a betting man.
If I was a betting man, mate. If I was a betting man, mate, I think I would put a lot of money on it being the biggest load of tosh you have ever seen. And quite frankly, I can't wait to see it. And it's, do you know what? It's not even like I want it to be back, because I don't. Of course, it would be a miracle. It'd be incredible if this movie was amazing. And that's the world I would love to live in. I don't know. I just don't have the faith, you know? He's had a few chances.
You think I should be like building the coffin for this £10 note right now?
I think so,
it's
mate.
going?
I think you should start ironing it, mate. Getting it crisp for Harry, mate. That's what I think.
I don't know though. I don't know. So I feel like it's not going to be like a because before we was like, oh, it's going to be like disappointing or whatever. But I feel like it is going to, even though it is 4 hours, and I think that is like an editing crime. You know, I feel like it's still going to have more heart than the Joss Whedon version, and I feel like I genuinely don't think it'll be terrible. I genuinely don't think that, but I think it's going to be slightly better than what we got, and it's going to have a bit more heart. But I think the general sort of story and structure is going to be very, very similar. I don't think there's going to be too much difference, but there will be more heart as Snyder has described. But like in terms of everything else, I don't think it's going to be that much different. So it's going to be hard whether to say it's clearly a good movie. It's like, I don't know.
It's gonna be
will it be
one.
better? I definitely think so. But will it be good is another question entirely. Like if you come to the table with a 4-hour movie, something's wrong, in my opinion.
I just want it either to be great or a load of bollocks. That's where if it's fine, I'll be upset. If it's like, it's alright.
I think it will either be great or fine.
Okay.
Because of the nature of the story, like not the story of the films, I mean the story of like Snyder and how it's all come back together. I think there's too much riding on it. I don't think it's going to be bad in the same way I think Batman v Superman is bad. I like Man of Steel. I think Man of Steel tells a focused story. There's some good action in it. I like Superman. BVS, what I don't like about it is that it spends so much time setting up this larger world and trying to make you buy that Batman's going to punch Superman when we know there's not going to be a winner to the fight. There's not going to be a fatality. They're going to team up. We spend the whole movie knowing that's going to happen. We don't know how it's going to happen, but we know it's going to happen, right? So we spend the whole movie wasting our time. We already established in the opening scene that Batman has a reason to kill Superman because of the Metropolis destruction. Yep. We don't need all the framing and the courtroom drama and all that stuff. It's all superfluous to me. It's a waste of time. And then you add Jesse Eisenberg to the mix, your chances of winning drastically go down. with that awful fucking Lex Luthor that he did. Like, my god, one of the worst villain
He's
performances
good
of all
other than
time.
that, though. Like, that's literally probably his worst role.
No, that's what we were talking
He's phenomenal. He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
He's
Me and Matt were
absolutely
discussing this the other
fantastic
day.
actor. Yeah, and like, what I don't understand is why Snyder didn't go. He sits down, he watches The Social Network, and he has his first meeting with Eisenberg on the set, and he goes, "Could you just do that for me?
Yeah,
Just do
no,
that
literally.
again. Just play Mark Zuckerberg, because that's who Lex Luthor should be in the 2010s anyway."
Yep.
So
I think every Snyder film has a little slight polish of trying too hard on it. And I feel like this Justice League is going to have a thick painting of trying too hard. And I think I'm going to put my money on it being what Harry said earlier, is bad but fun. I think we're going to get some fun bits, and I just think it's going to be trying too hard.
I think it's going to be way more fun than BVS from the
Oh,
very
that's
nature.
not hard.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
I
not
can
hard.
agree with that. Yeah.
But I think the reason why it's going to be more fun and why it's going to be better structured is because there's 6 characters in this. All of them have whiz-bang powers and effects. So you're not going to get the thing with BVS where we have this whole scene in a prison yard and then we cut to Bruce Wayne and he's in some sort of like dirty bar getting information. It's like, we don't care. Whereas this is going to be the Flash is zipping around, time traveling. The next scene, it's Cyborg and his dad. The next scene, it's like Batman and Wonder Woman. So I think there's going to be enough interesting stuff from moment to moment that it's going to be better than Batman v Superman at a base level.
I think I agree with that.
But
I think it's going to be hard
good.
to be worse than Batman and Superman, if I'm perfectly honest.
Granted. But I think it's going to be good because he's had time to work out the kinks. It is 4 hours, but I do also think it's... I think there's enough characters and there's enough going on that it could be 4 hours. It could feel like a mini-series rather than a movie, and it could still be paced very well, and the story could be structured in a way that is satisfactory. So I'm not too worried about the fact it's too long, because to me, I see it as a mini-series anyway. The fact that they've announced the chapters says to me that it's going to feel very much like chunk 1 done, chunk 2 done. I don't think we're going to be looking at our watches 2 hours in going, where are we? I think we're going to know exactly where we are each stage of the story. Harry, you don't agree?
Just to clarify,
I
is there
just feel
anyone
like
that...
4 hours is so long, man.
Yeah, it's true. Just to clarify, I just want to know if anyone thinks that it could be Zack Snyder's best movie. Does anyone think
Not a chance in hell. Not a chance in hell.
No.
I don't think we think it will, but I think some of the Sheriff Snyder's deputies may.
The deputies.
They might, yeah.
The deputies.
I think we're going to have I think it's going to be a great divide. I think it's going to be as big as like the Rise of Skywalker kind of divide among the fans.
Or Last Jedi.
The fans will love it no matter what, and I think equally, to be fair, I think there are some people that are going to go into it looking to hate it as well. So I do think there is going to be that no matter what happens, whether it is good. But look, I don't want things to be bad. If it's good, I'm going to praise it to high heaven. I'm going to stand by it if it's good.
Yeah,
if it's
straight,
shit,
yeah.
I'm
100%.
Equally, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see in a week's time, I guess.
I would love for it to be great. I'd love to see a great Justice League movie. That would be amazing. Like, the kid in me would love to see that. I'd
That's
just
what
be
excites
surprised.
me.
Yeah. No,
It's
it's
like-
the
it's like-
possibility.
Oh, yeah. The possibilities, yeah. I'm cautiously optimistic. And after rewatching Man of Steel and liking it a great deal more than I ever have, so if anyone's going to give me hope, it's Superman, right? And Superman has given me a little bit of hope that it's going to be good. But I'm not a moron, and I want you and everyone at home to know.
Are you sure?
I want
You don't think
everyone
you're
at
about to
home
lose
know.
a tenner, mate? And I'm joking.
I want you to know that I did it because it makes for a good bet.
Yes,
and whether
I
or not
agree.
I'm actually going to get the tenner, I think is dubious at best.
I agree.
So if we go through all the clauses, I want you guys to just shout me whether you think it's going to me or Harry, right? So let's work out who thinks is going to get the most money, all right?
Okay.
We should
Green
make
Lan-
little Matt and Harry cards that we can just hold up.
Well, we don't have time. So R-rated.
we know that one, don't we?
Yeah, so
Yeah, we know that
1-0
one.
to you.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't know why we took so long. to
So
get that one.
proud.
Yeah.
So proud.
Yeah, he's so proud of that one, isn't he?
It's like,
He's like this. He's like turned into Hulk Hogan. He's like,
I'm like, you know that gif of Joseph Gordon-Levitt where he's like,
yeah.
that's me right now.
Brilliant.
Green Lantern. Harry.
Harry.
Harry. Darkseid having a bigger role.
I think Matt.
I'm with Harry on this one.
I don't know.
Harry, I'm sticking up for you. Be
No.
confident.
I think he'll have a bigger role. I just don't. Wait. So the clause is specifically him having a fight in the present narrative. I don't think that will happen.
In the present narrative and comes to one attack. See, I would argue. All right, the Lincoln lawyer is going to come out here. I'm pretty sure that we said he's in the present narrative or comes to one attack, but it's written here and comes to one attack.
So
now, whether or not,
no, I'll take an or for that. I'll take
technicality.
Well, hang on. Harry, if you want to be gracious enough to do that, that's up to you. Because in my mind, I read the contract, I signed it. If I had a problem with it, I should have said that months ago. So, but if you want to change it to or, that's up to you.
No, don't do it, Harry. Don't do it.
Hey,
Don't do it. Don't do it, Harry. I'm firmly in your team.
The problem is, I would change it, but I don't like the idea of him having like an extra scene where he just like attacks some randomer. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I see. Yeah.
That's nothing. That shouldn't. But if like, I don't know, for some reason there was an extra flashback scene where maybe, I don't know, he's fighting, I don't fucking know, like Martian Manhunter or something, I'll give you the tenner for that.
Okay, so if he's in the present narrative more and he has a fight scene
with someone
at any point,
significant.
I was
With
about to say
someone
significant
significant.
fight scene.
Significant.
so he can't just like
your average
he can't
Joe.
just grab a parademon and be like, you failed me.
No.
It was that Parademon's first day at the office, and he spilled pencils on Darkseid's desk. And
Oh,
he just fucked it, didn't he? Okay, so Green Lantern Harry, R-rated Matt, Darkseid. I'm gonna go with Harry on it.
Okay.
So Harry's £20.
Yeah,
Harry's £10
yeah,
up.
I'll go with me. Yeah.
Post credit, Harry or Matt.
Who said there wasn't going to be one?
I'm betting there is a post credit.
Oh, I think Harry maybe as well.
Yeah, I think I'm
after
on
the
Harry
Snyder
for that
Cut.
one.
No.
So I think Harry's 20 quid up.
This is
And then
surprising me.
This is what I mean. We've been saying for months. Oh, lol. I think we've been saying that because of the R rating because of Martian Manhunter. But Martian Manhunter isn't in the contract, and I'm betting that it's going to be good. So I think I'm going to lose some money here.
Amazing.
I think Harry's got it. I think Harry's got it in the bag. I think he's gonna.
Harry's got it in the bag.
What?
Hey.
I think he's gonna profit £20.
I love
I need
to see
it.
Matt
I
lose
need it.
money.
Yeah, I'd live for it. I would also live for one of them getting like an all slate, but I just can't see it. Like all of them.
Before
Should we put a bet on Charlie on their bet?
Oh, we should.
No, I don't have any money.
No, do I.
What I was gonna say, like, just for the podcast, if you guys want to get in on, is it going to be good, and give me a yes or no now, so we can tie back to this next week.
Can I put my money on bad fun?
If you want.
Okay, I'll put £10 on it being bad fun.
Oh, you'd have to bet any money. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can if you want.
Just your soul.
Okay, I feel pretty confident about it being bad fun. So I'm going to put £10 on it being bad fun.
Okay.
This is me signing away my life.
But in terms of bad or good, you don't think it's going to be like good? You don't think it's going to be like legitimately good?
I think we're going to get some good scenes, a bit of filth, but I think, as I said, I think it's going to have a heavy polish of try hard. Personally.
Yes. I think it will be. I'm torn between like fine and bad. I want it to be great. Like everything part of me wants it to be great. Like it'd be just the ultimate story. It'd just be the greatest story, the underdog story, which I'm always for. But I just can't imagine it. And I've got a feeling it will be bad, or like Terry said, bad fun, or fine. But I'd be very surprised if it's good. Be very surprised. But I want it to be.
Do you not feel like there's a weird kind of nostalgia for it? Because for me, at least, I remember when we were at school getting really excited for Ben Affleck's Batman, for BVS, and like before that stuff came out and disappointed me, I was so ready. I was so ready for a DC cinematic universe in the same way that I love the Marvel cinematic universe. Like there's no Marvel versus DC in my head, and it annoys me that the internet kind of perpetuates it, because to me, they're both great. And why would I want one of them to be shit? Like I want great DC movies, great Marvel movies. Yeah,
absolutely.
And when they first announced Ben Affleck, I thought that was a great choice. I was fully behind it. And then when they showed that first image of him in the suit, we all lost our minds. And seeing Justice League get hyped up again and seeing things that I think look kind of good about it has brought a lot of that back. Even though it's been not that long, it's only been like 4 years. I think the fact that we've been doing this through a pandemic where a lot of things have been closed and cinemas have been closed, to have this kind of thing come back from a couple of years ago and have you go, oh yeah, do you remember when you were excited for this? It's been a nice kind of wave of nostalgia for me. And I'm wondering if anyone else has felt that a little bit.
Yes. Yeah. I remember getting really hyped up to go see Batman vs Superman in the cinema. And so I'm really excited to come back full circle and hopefully get something that I like, because I've always thought the DC comics were amazing, and I'd really like the extended universe to be that as well.
Yeah, I was the exact same. I was very excited about Batman vs Superman. It was one of my biggest disappointments ever until I see The Rise of Skywalker. And then I watched it recently. We rewatched it recently, and I kind of was watching it like, I remember how much I was excited for Ben Affleck's Batman and how I think he's like such a perfect choice for Batman, but I just don't like the way Zack Snyder handles him. And I'm curious to see more. I'm curious to see people like Aquaman and Wonder Woman again, and I quite liked what was happening with the Cyborg in the other Justice League, so I'm intrigued to see how they develop that. So I do feel, and I do agree with you, Matt, I do feel like a little bit of, something to look forward to, and I kind of appreciate it for that. And I think everyone's kind of a little bit excited for it in a way, like we've discussed. Is it going to be great, or is it going to fail? And I think there's something very exciting about that. It could be, because I think someone said before, like directors that are like auteur directors or directors with a vision or something, like when they make a bad movie, they make a really bad movie. Like even if they make good movies, like so they foul, like what's the word? Like they foul like gloriously, if that makes sense, kind of thing. Like they foul more harder than people that necessarily do make great movies. And
I agree with you, because Justice League was two directors' styles.
Yes.
And it ends up being such a nothing movie. Exactly, Whereas even if this is bad, it's going to be pure Snyder for 4 hours. Sheriff Snyder for 4 hours. I need it.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Before we go, and I am going to be speedy about this because we have about 7 minutes left on the Zoom call, I just wanted to swing back to what Harry said earlier about the nightmare sequences being in Justice League 2 and 3, because I have in front of me reportedly the plans for the sequels, which I'm going to read out to you. I want to see, what you guys think it would have been like. I think Charlie will be surprised. Right?
Oh, okay.
So, following the events of Justice League, the team would have reassembled to take on some natural disasters, which is interesting. Bit of Thunderbirds. There would have been an unrequited romance between Bruce Wayne and Lois Lane. So, and that would have been expanded more in the sequel. Yeah. I think, from what I've read, because I've read around this, I think, because you hear Bruce Wayne, Lois Lane romance, you're like, that sounds terrible. But I think what it was going to be more was Bruce Wayne was going to secretly, conjure feelings for her that he was never going to mention. Do you know what I mean? Which is kind of interesting. It seems a bit...
I think Bruce Wayne needs a bit of therapy first, especially Snyder's Bruce. Well, any Bruce Wayne, to be honest. He needs to go into therapy before he gets a girlfriend.
It's a bit cliched to put two male characters at odds and then have one of their girlfriends be someone that they both end up fighting over. But,
I was about to say it's because she's a redhead and flick my hair, but I'm not a redhead right now, so that doesn't work.
And baby, Batman and Superman aren't here right now, so
God damn it.
they wouldn't see it. So meanwhile, Lex is assembling his own Justice League, which we saw a bit of a tease for in the Whedon cut, and his team would have consisted of Dr. Poison, Captain Cold, Orm, and Black Manta from Aquaman.
Oh.
So it would have been Patrick Wilson and Abdul Mateen too.
I'm all for that.
I thought you would have been.
All for that.
And so those villains would have been obviously set up in all the solo movies, and then it would have folded into Justice League 2. Something that I really like about that, and something that's always bothered me about the Marvel movies, is that when the teams come together, very often it devolves into team of heroes versus like a load of stock CGI baddies. Do you know what I mean? Like an army. Like even in Endgame, like you look at Thanos' army versus the heroes. It's like they've all got superpowers, and Thanos is just the only one that's really got any oomph. Thanos, the Black Order, and then the rest of it's just like regular soldiers.
Yeah.
So I think it would have been interesting to say, here's the Justice League, here's the Anti-League, and they're just as powerful, and now they're going to have a beatdown. That would have been very exciting.
Yeah,
and something I don't think the MCU's done enough of.
I would agree.
Superman's struggling to return to his normal life. Blah, 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 boring. Wonder Woman sees herself becoming the god of war and killing Superman. Aquaman is embroiled in Atlantean conflicts. Blah, 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 blah. You know what? I'm not going to get into the rest of this. It's getting a bit convoluted, isn't it? I thought it'd be more interesting than this, but some of it's not very interesting.
The villains is interesting. The Anti-League thing.
Absolutely.
Yes. I'm going to research this a little bit more, and maybe we'll bring it up next week.
Yeah.
But for now, you would have got a new Anti-League, and I've got a little thing here that says that the Riddler would have popped up in some form. But we'll unpack that next week.
Mental.
Because we've got 3 minutes left.
Yeah, mental.
But yeah, you guys would have been happy with the Anti-Justice League.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think that's a new way to do it. Like you said, we've not seen that from the MCU. It'd be interesting to see, Zack Snyder with more action figures, action figures, and get them to smash them together. I'd like to see that.
I'd like to see that too. Well, this has been the Full Fat Podcast. I've had a blast today. I've really enjoyed it, and I'm so excited for the Snyder Cut. I need, even if it's bad, I just need to see it.
Same.
Yeah,
it's like the Holy Grail, I just need to find it and look upon it. Would you guys like to, give your customary farewells and plug your socials before we pop off?
Should we have our guest Harry Bag start?
Well, I'd just like to plug all my 3 delicious friends to the side here, and that's it, yeah. Enjoy all their stuff, guys. Don't worry about me.
Aw, Harry, you
So
make
humble.
all of our stuff possible. So
That's true, that is true. But,
And if you need an editor, did I point right?
No, we're all in different places.
No.
But yeah. And you can find Charlie at...
Your favourite film is awful. You can find me on Twitter at Fav.
You had to think about that.
I had to. I did. I was thinking. I was like, "Are you gonna say it?" Or because he was like, "Ah," and I'm like,
yeah.
So you can find us on YouTube. Your favourite film is awful, where you can watch the video podcast. You can find us on Twitter at Fav Film is awful, and Instagram your favourite film is awful, and Facebook your favourite film is awful. Yeah. So reach out to us, check out the content, let us know if you like it.
I've got less than a minute, so I'm going to speed run through mine. You can catch me on pretty much everything as Terry Merkin, except Twitter, where it's the other way around. It's Merkin Terry. Harry Bag's going to get it to spell because nobody can spell it, so he's going to have it come up right here. You can find me on Twitch tonight, where I'll be live streaming, and I now have Patreon. Yay!
Yeah.
And you can get me at Full Fat Videos on Twitter, at full_fat_videos on Instagram, and obviously subscribe to the YouTube channel. Both of them. Boom.
Boom.